What up, what up, what up? Jedi Marketer here, and we're going to be going into a little bit of a lifestyle, motivation, inspirational video here, and I wanted to talk about some things that have been popping up. A lot of people who have been hitting me up in my inbox. Just give me a sec here. I want to talk about death. I want to talk about our loved ones, our friends, people who we have history with, who we've grown and built long-term relationships with, who pass on. And I think it's important that we talk about this because I have a lot of friends who are struggling right now because of, you know, close ones moving on in their lives, best friends specifically. You know, one of the things that I've learned in life is that, you know, we hold best friends very dear to our heart. It's because those are the people who we built really long-term relationships with. Our family, you know, they're our family, they're our blood. But best friends, we actually build, you know, more of a relationship than our family with them. And so when we lose a best friend, it becomes really difficult to deal with. And I'm gonna speak from my own experience, having lost a lot of best friends. I've lost a lot. And one of the reasons why I lost a lot of best friends is because a lot of the people that I grew up with grew up in a cycle of poverty, a cycle of negativity, gangs, alcoholism, drugs. And they grew up in a situation where they couldn't get themselves out of this cycle, this place in which their lives kept focusing on, you know, the merry-go-round, going round and round, doing the same things over and over again, and eventually taking their lives. You know, a lot of my best friends were murdered, died from drugs or alcohol, some accidents, you know, but majority drugs or alcohol are murdered. And I've grown somewhat numb a little bit to that now. I've been to so many funerals, and I've learned to understand death. I've learned it never gets easier, but you can only get wiser with how you approach and look at death. And one of the things that I've learned, having experienced so much in my life, you know, losing my mom, recently my dad, is that we can't look at the negatives of losing somebody. We can't look at the negatives they've done to us. We can't look at the negatives that they've left. We can only, if we have a close relationship with these people, we need to look at their lives for what it is and the lessons they left, the legacy. Maybe some of them didn't leave a really positive legacy, but they left a lot of positive messages that you can take from it. And when you understand that when I move on from this planet, I left a legacy for people to follow. And while, you know, I'm leaving a lot of different positive messages, I also left some negative ones of what people shouldn't be doing, right, in my past. And there's things that you, who are watching this, the things that you have done in your past, that you are leaving lessons for these people when you pass on, for what you shouldn't do. So it's very important for us today as human beings, as individuals, to take control of our lives and create this positive message that we're going to leave, especially if you're a parent, that you leave this positive legacy for your kids, because those kids are going to continue the cycle in which you raise them in. I was raised in a very bad cycle. You know, my mother was a drug addict, alcoholism. My father just didn't really know how to be a father because he was raised in abuse himself. So we had a very distant relationship, more like bros, because he didn't know how to love, you know. But I loved my father loved me, but there was a very platonic love there, right? So we have to break that cycle, right? We have to break that cycle, share our wisdom, and share the positive messages we can leave. And when we look at the death of the ones that we lost, we have to grieve. Of course you have to grieve. You have to cry. There's nothing wrong with crying. There's nothing wrong with those things, but you need to talk to somebody. And you need to speak to somebody, whether somebody's close or go to somebody who's a professional. But you need to talk to somebody to let out how you feel. And once you let out how you feel, now you can focus on the message of their death. So a lot of my friends died from alcoholism and drugs, and so I look at their message. I look at what they left. I look at, okay, so don't do drugs and alcohol, and I don't. I don't party like that. I don't do drugs. I don't even smoke marijuana. I don't smoke cigarettes. I look at their lives and I said, okay, this has been happening over and over and over again. A pattern has been happening over and over again. I have to pick up on these patterns and I have to break that cycle. And the only way I can break that cycle for my children, you know, because I am a full-time dad, is I have to stop doing these things, right? I have to stop doing the things that are plaguing our inner city, plaguing our education system. And it's up to people like me, it's up to people like you to relay this positive message so that kids who do come onto YouTube, they see our videos, they see our message, and they say, wow, you know, this is really happening. You know, I lost my mother, I lost my father. I lost those things too, and it wasn't easy, you know, growing up without a mother into my 20s, losing her when I was 18 years old. You know, it was tough. But I had to look at the positive things that she left. You know, she showed me how to smile. She showed me how to cook for myself. You know, there was little tiny things that she prepared me for that I didn't realize until I got older and wiser. But I seen the message that she left for me. I seen the message that my father, even though he wasn't a great father to me, in terms of, you know, taking me to the park, showing me these fatherly things, the fatherhood stuff, you know. Even though he didn't do those things, he showed me, because he didn't do that, I am who I am today. I'm a better father because of that, because he said, this is what you shouldn't do, Gene. This is what you shouldn't do. And I used that. I used the things that a lot of my bros and family and people who passed on, who they weren't the greatest parents as well, but I used their lesson, their example of what not to do and what I should be doing. Because if I have a clear indicator of what not to do, I have a clear indication and a pattern that I can start recreating of what I need to do. So look at the positive things that these people leave for you. If they were doing dumb shit, then they left a message for you. They left a message of what not to do. And if you don't take heed of the message that they left, then you are going to fall into that same cycle. You will eventually die the exact same way, and your kids will live on that cycle, and the trauma passed on from you will be passed on to them. Eventually, that's just where it just continues. It continues and continues. And I'm proud of myself that I was able to break that cycle, break that barrier, break down those walls, those success walls, those you know, self-sabotaging things that I used to do to myself all the time. And I'm creating a legacy for my kids of, you know, eating healthy, thinking healthy, positive mind, creating positive examples for other people to follow, inspiring people, motivating people, inspiring myself, taking control of my own life, and helping people, most importantly. And my kids are gonna take that message, and they're gonna continue that cycle, and they're gonna be living healthy and inspiring other people just like how I was. And that's what I want. I want the legacy I want to leave for my family, and that's what I learned from all these people who died in my life, and the experiences that I experienced in relationships with these people. So I hope this video was very informative to you. Just from the bottom of my heart, to all you guys and girls going through some really tough times. Remember, there's always brighter days when you look at the brighter side of things. There's a darkness to everything, but that is just the balance of the universe. And when you understand this balance, there's going to be negative things that happen in your life all the time. But we can't live without the negative. Death is an inevitable characteristic of life. So death is always going to happen. It's not why does it happen, but it's when is it going to happen, and it's how you react to it that's going to change and pave that legacy for what you leave behind as well. So let's break that cycle, people. Say no to drugs and alcohol. Be conscious about the food that you're putting in your body. There's so many healthy things that you could be educating your family, your kids, and yourself about. Make use of the internet. Make use of the knowledge available, because knowledge is power. Peace.